Sita नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम सको श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की श्री जगन्नाथ पुरी धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Krishna Prasthaya Pudri Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Dasatarini. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On behalf of ISKCON Scarborough, I would like to welcome each one of you to this Friday evening program. Yethrichalabha santushto Yethrichalabha santushto Dvantavito vimatsara Dvantvadito vimatsara Samasiddhau asiddhau cha. Samasiddhau asiddhau cha. Kritvapi na nibadyate. Kritvapi na nibadyate. Yadricchalabha santushto. Tvantavito vimatsara. Samasiddhau asiddhau cha. Kritvapi na nibadyate. Word for word meaning. You can repeat after me. Yadricha. Yadricha. Out of its own accord. Repeat after me. Out of its own accord. Labha. With gain. Santushta. Satisfied. Dvandva. Duality. Atita. Surpassed. Vimatsara. Free from envy. Sama. Steady. Siddhau. In success. Asiddhau. Failure. Cha. Also. Kritva. Doing. Api. Although. Na. Never. Nibadyate. Becomes affected. Translation. He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. A Krishna conscious person does not make much endeavor even to maintain his body. He is satisfied with gains which are obtained of his own accord. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly as far as it is in his power and is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. He is therefore independent in his livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service in Krishna consciousness. However, for the service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the duality of the material world. The duality of the material world is felt in terms of heat and cold, or misery and happiness. A Krishna conscious person is above duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, he is steady both in success and in failure. These signs are visible when one is fully in transcendental knowledge. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances to him. Vanchakalpatirubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are just like desired trees, fulfilling the desires of everyone and are full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. Chapter 4, titled Transcendental Knowledge, and today's verse we are reading is number 22, verse number 22, and the translation again is, he who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. So we will try to analyze the translation and try to understand what Krishna is instructing to Arjun and to Arjun to all of us. He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord. So here, Lord Krishna is explaining that we should not waste this valuable human form of life in pursuit of temporary gains that would be lost when we lose our life. At the end of our life, whatever we gained materially is lost after we die. So that is the meaning of he who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord. That means do not waste this valuable human form of life just for material purpose. So we have to perform material duties as well to take care of our body and soul, to keep the body and soul together, but do not spend all your time in pursuit of this temporary gain which will be totally lost. So how do we understand that? So we may be working 2 or 3 jobs 7 days a week without pursuing our spiritual consciousness, and we may be able to achieve our aim of whatever we have in our life. And for different, life is different if you're talking about material sense. So somebody may be satisfied when they have a bank balance of $250,000 when they retire. Somebody may be happy with $1 million or $2 million in their bank account at the time of their death, and they're extremely happy with the material aim that they had, which they achieved. Now, at the time of death, and death can come at any time. It does not mean when one is old, death will come. Death can come at any given time because yat vipadam na tesam, padam padam. Every step of the way there is danger, and we may lose our life at any given time. So, a person, for example, by the name of John Peter, may have a bank balance of $100,000 at the time of him leaving the body. At the time of him dying, his bank balance is $100,000 or $1 million, whatever we keep. So for simplicity's sake, $100,000. He dies. And in the next life, he will be getting a body based on his desire and based on the karma and based on the sanctioning of our future by the Paramatma in our heart. This person may get the body of may get a human body if he's really lucky, and he's born again, and assume that he's born in the same country, and he's not Mr. John Peter again, he's someone else. So he cannot claim that I already left $100,000 at the time of me dying. He will not remember, first of all, and he's got a different body, different personality, different name. So whatever he gained, he toiled through the whole of his life, is zero. He starts off with a bank balance of zero when this person is born again. And that is if you are lucky to get a human life, but we may not even get a human body. We may get an animal body, and we may be born in a different country. We may be going to other planetary systems as well. So whatever materially that we gain, we may work very hard to get a big palace, expensive house for $2 million, $3 million. But at the time of death, that house stays here, but we are gone. And we cannot claim proprietorship to this house in the next life. We slog through the course of our life, but it's all gone. So here the meaning is, who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord. So it will come. Everything will come by itself based on our destiny. And the self-realized soul understands this concept of whatever gain comes of its own accord. That is from the teaching in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the teaching of Lord Krishna to Uddhava. Uddhava is Lord Krishna's cousin brother. And here Lord Krishna is narrating a pastime that took place many years before that. It was narrated by Avaduta. Avaduta means one who has left everything in material life, and he was Dattatreya. And it was the Supreme Personality of Godhead as well, who instructed King Yadu many years ago. So Yadu is the forefather of Lord Krishna. And this Avaduta learned from 24 different gurus. And these gurus are not sannyasis. Many of them are from nature. He learned from the sun, he learned from the wind, he learned from python, he learned from pigeon, different. And his 9th guru was python. Everybody knows what a python is? A big snake. If you have seen, it's a huge snake. Now, what did this Avaduta learn from a python? So what we are trying to understand is, he who is satisfied with gain that comes of its own accord. Now the python peacefully and patiently stays in one place. and whatever food comes to him on its own accord, the python eats. So it can be meager, it can be plenty, it can be tasty, it can be not tasty, but the python accepts whatever comes of its own accord. So that is what the Avaduta learned. Patiently wait whatever comes. It can be food. It can also be miseries. Miseries also, we try to avoid miseries. None of us want misery. Anybody wants misery? Please raise your hand. None of us want misery, but can we avoid that? It is forced on us. We cannot avoid that. And Avaduta learned that happiness also comes automatically. Just like misery comes by itself, automatically happiness also comes by itself. We don't have to go out of the way to obtain happiness. So it is a fact. Based on our karma, we will get happiness as well. Just by not being able to avoid the miseries, happiness will also come by itself. So that is the lesson learned by Avaduta from the 9th Siksha Guru of him, and that is Python. Wait patiently and peacefully, and things will come by itself. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he is one of our acharyas in the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, to which all of us belong. And he instructs us, do not be inactive in spiritual activities, but be inactive in material activities. So don't, as we are reading, the theme of this verse is, do not waste your valuable human form of life in just the pursuits of material gains and material happiness. So here the warning is, be active in spiritual activities and be inactive in material activities. That's the instruction and warning by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And why is he giving that warning? Every precious moment that we have in our life is the most valuable thing that the Lord has given us. Every precious moment we have is the most valuable thing that the Lord has given us. A moment lost is lost forever. Can all the money in the world cannot buy one moment of time that is lost. Can we buy that? 10 minutes that we lose, can Bill Gates or the richest person buy back that 10 minutes or even 1 second of the time that is lost? We cannot get back the time that is lost. So that is the most valuable thing that we possess, and time that is lost forever. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is instructing us to use our valuable time of life. We are inching towards our death. We have a stipulated amount of time in this human body and it is running out. So do not waste this valuable form of life in pursuit of just the material happiness. And it is also said, with every sunrise and sunset, we are one day closer to death. It's a fact. With every rising and setting of sun, we are one day closer to death. Time and tide waits for none. So here we have to make use of this valuable time in this human body that we have to pursue spiritual goals. So that is the message from this particular verse. And on Wednesday, which was 2 days ago, was the glorious appearance day anniversary of Srivas Thakur. That is, Srivas Thakur is one of the Panchatatvas, and you can see in this beautiful picture that you see in front of us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the one who is in the center in this yellow dhoti, and he is having his arms outstretched. And you see on the rightmost side here is Srivas Thakur, who has this white dress, and that is Srivas Thakur. He is an incarnation of Narada Muni, and he is one of the Panchatatvas. So we chant the mantra Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So he is one of the Panchatatvas. Tattva means truth. That is the meaning of truth. And Panchatattva means 5 truths. So we have Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya at the center, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Lord Krishna. To his right is Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is none other than Lord Balaram. And to his right with the white beard is Advaita Acharya, who is none other than a combination of Mahavishnu and Sadasiva. And to the left of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with raised hands with that reddish type of top is Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit is an incarnation of Srimati Radharani. And to the right side most we see in that white dhoti is Srivas Thakur, who is none other than Narada Muni. And it is said, just when you remember their lotus feet, so you can see part of their lotus feet, I would like to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. About the Panchatattva. So it is said, I'm just going to read the English meaning, so please listen to this, hear this attentively. By remembering the lotus feet of the Panchatattva, so you saw the 5 great personalities there. Just by remembering, you don't even have to meditate, just by remembering the lotus feet of Panchatattva, a dumb man can become a poet. A dumb man can become a poet. A lame man can cross the mountains, and a blind man can see the stars in the sky. So by just remembering their lotus feet, so you can just see their lotus feet, and when you close your eyes and when you remember, it is said all glories will come to us, because the dumb man can become a poet, a lame man can cross the mountain, and a blind man can see the star. What is the meaning of this? So a dumb man means a person who's foul-mouthed, who does Vaishnava aparadh, who does not talk good about devotees. That is the foul-mouthed person who is referred to in this context as a dumb man, can become a poet, can start chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What is a greater poetry than Hare Krishna Mahamantra? So a dumb man can become a poet, which means a person who performs a lot of sinful activities by talking bad about other devotees and people, he can start chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. A lame man can cross the mountains. A lame man means a person who does so many aparadhs or offenses, and he can cross the mountains of sins that he is committed, he can even cross that. And a blind person means a person who is spiritually blind can see the stars in the sky, which means he can see the Paramatma in the heart. So that is the glory of the Panchatattva, just by remembering the lotus feet. We don't have to chant their names, we don't even have to meditate on the lotus feet. Just by remembering their lotus feet, we gain so much of spiritual credits. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, before he advented, he sent many of the other associates before he can advent to the material world. So he sent Sachi Mata, who was his mother. He sent Jagannath Mishra, who was his father. He sent him early. And then also Advaita Acharya, one with the beard, he came earlier than when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. As well as Ishwarapuri. Ishwarapuri is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He appeared before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Madhavendra Puri is the spiritual master of the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He appeared before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course Srivas Thakur, whose appearance day was 2 days ago, he also appeared 30 years before the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srivas Thakur appeared as the son of Jaladhar Pandit. Jaladhar Pandit was the father of Srivas Thakur, and he was one of the 5 sons in the family. The elder son was Nalina Pandit, and then it was Srivas Thakur, and then there was Sri Rama, and then Srinidhi and Sripati. Those are the 5 brothers of Srivas Thakur. And up to the age of 16 years, Srivas Thakur led a very, very impious life. He did not respect the Brahmins. He did not respect the Vedic literature. For 16 years, until he was 16 years, he did not lead a very, very pious life. And on one particular day, he had a dream where a voice said, "You will be dying in 1 year. You will die in 1 year." And that was the voice that was heard by Srivas Thakur, who's one of the Panchatattva, and Tattva is truth. So that 1 year, from the time he was 15 to 16, he was leading a very, very pious life where he heard Srimad Bhagavatam. So many hours he heard the Srimad Bhagavatam. In a way, he led a life like Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit led this life. He was a pious person, but extremely pious activities were performed in the last 7 days of his life, when he knew that he's going to die in 7 days to be bitten by Takshaka the snake. So similarly, here, Srivas Thakur led a very, very pious life for 1 year. And exactly at the end of 1 year, Srivas Thakur, when he was hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Katha of Prahlad Maharaj, he fell down from the balcony and left his life. He fell down from the balcony at the end of 16th year. He fell down from a very high balcony and apparently he died. He left his body. Then mystically, the spirit of Narada Muni entered into the body of Srivas Thakur, and from then on, he was leading a glorious life as an example for all of us. So, after that, he got married to Malini Devi, and as we heard earlier, he appeared 30 years before the advent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and their house was very, very close to the house where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived. So how many of us can be very proud and say, my neighbor is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So here Srivas Thakur had the neighbor, and the neighbor was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, who is and Lord Malini Devi and Srivas Thakur were like parents, second parents for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srivas Thakur is also referred to as Suddha Nama Ashraya. Suddha Nama Ashraya means shelter. It's a common word in Sanskrit. Ashraya means shelter. Suddha Nama Ashraya means he's a shelter of the pure name. Suddha Nama, pure holy name. Now it does not mean there is pure holy name and impure holy name. The holy name is always pure. But how we are able to access and how we are able to chant the name purely is what is referred to as pure holy name, and he is the shelter. So if we take shelter of Srivas Thakur, we will be able to chant the holy name in this Suddhanama platform. And there is a wonderful pastime where it is said, ISKCON founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. When he was young, he was traveling with his father, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and he was going towards Kulinagram. Kulinagram is in West Bengal. And they were going towards this Kulinagram, which is said to be an ancient temple town. It's a very, very pious place. And they were going towards this temple town. And as they were approaching Kulinagram, it was getting dark. So they had to walk for 2 or 3 more hours in the dark jungle, which was not advisable, but they were proceeding. And as it was getting darker, they reached an ancient temple in the outskirts of Kulinagram, and there was an old priest who came, and he said, why don't you stay in the temple tonight? You can go to Kulinagram tomorrow morning. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj took that request to heart, and they stayed in the temple that night. And during the course of the night, there were big stones and bricks flying all over the place, coming towards Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. Brick bats were thrown towards them from all over the place, and they don't know from where these stones were being thrown. And what did they do? Like all of us do. When we are in the helpless condition, what do? Who can protect us? Only the holy name. So they started chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra very loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. After they started chanting, all these stones stopped flying from all over the place. And in fact, they had a wonderful, peaceful rest and sleep in that temple. And early in the morning, they started walking towards Kulinagram again. And as they approached Kulinagram, there was an older person who came and asked, you look to be out of town and you have come early in the morning to Kulinagram, which means you would have stayed in the haunted temple did you stay in the temple? And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, yes, we stayed in that temple. How can you stay in the temple? Because there is a ghost there, and that ghost throws so many stones at everybody who's coming nearby or who stays in the temple. Yes, there were stones thrown when we were there. How come you don't have any injuries? Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, yes, we were chanting the holy names loudly, and there was no more ghost, there was no more stone throwing. And then when he found out, when this old person found out who Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Maharaj were, then he started asking, how is it possible? This old person was a priest in the temple before he died, and he was chanting the holy names of the Lord. How come he became a ghost? So we are talking about Suddha Nama Ashraya, who is Srivas Thakur. He is the shelter of the holy name, of the pure holy name. And how did this person become a ghost even though he chanted the holy name? And Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that he was not chanting the holy name, or he was chanting the holy name lip deep, and he was chanting with offenses. So now these two are very deadly combination. One is not chanting the name purely and also chanting the name with the offenses. We know that there are 10 offenses to the holy name. Blaspheming the devotees who have dedicated their life, propagating, so many aparats are there, offenses are there. Disobeying the orders of the spiritual master, to consider the names of Hare Krishna as imagination. So all these offenses are. So if we chant the holy name of the Lord, we can even be born as a ghost. So this is a warning for all of us, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the sound of the name is not the actual name. We get benefit. There are some benefits when we chant the holy name, even superficially, but we don't get the real essence. The value of that will not be had unless we chant purely by going deep inside. So again, repeating the syllable of the name is not the actual name. So it's like shooting blanks in when we have a gun with 6 cylinders, 5 of them will be shooting blanks, but we don't get the desired result if there is no bullet. Or we can even say Tylenol. When we say Tylenol, there is no effect. We have to get the essence of what is inside the Tylenol for us to have the effect. And also, there is a jar of honey. If we lick the outer part of the jar, we don't get to taste the real honey. But when we actually taste the honey, the real thing is inside the bottle, not outside the bottle. So, that is what happened to this Brahmin when he chanted with offenses, and also he was chanting superficially the syllables, not actually going as far. Prabhupada says, when we chant the names of the Lord as a lost child crying for the mother, then we get pure holy name. So he's the Suddha Nama Ashraya. That is Srivas Thakur. And Srivas Thakur, his house where Srivas Thakur lived is called Srivas Angan. And Srivas Angan is the birthplace of Sankirtan movement. It's the birthplace, it's the epicenter of Harinam Sankirtan, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inaugurated Harinam Sankirtan in Srivas Angan, which is the house of Srivas Thakur. And also this is the house where the mridanga, which was used for Kirtan during that time, 500 years ago, was broken by this angry Muslim Qazi. And this house of Srivas Angan started to be referred to as Kol Banga Danga. You may have heard this. Kol Banga Danga means that's the place where this mridanga was broken. And also Srivas Angan, the house of Srivas Acharya, is the place where 21 hours of ecstatic manifestation was revealed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 21 hours of ecstatic manifestation. So this is a big, wonderful, glorious, nectarian subject that we can hear. Probably we can continue for two weeks to really hear this wonderful pastime, which can be seen in this glorious book, which is called as Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And we will try to hear one pastime from there. So this 21 hours of ecstatic manifestation by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called as Sata Praharya Leela, or it is also called as Mahaprakash Leela or Mahabhava Prakasha. So 21 hours of ecstatic manifestation. And one pastime that we can extract from this 9th chapter of Madhya Kanda of this wonderful book, Chaitanya Bhagavat, is usually Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing in Shiva Sangan in the mood of the servant of the servant of the servant. And only temporarily he manifests his glorious opulence, but he withdraws this right away. But one particular day, he went and sat in Lord Vishnu's throne. There's a throne for Lord Vishnu in Srivas Thakur's house. He went and sat there and he instructed the devotees to chant the mantras for his Abhishek, because he's Lord Krishna himself. And the devotees got so much of water from the Ganges, and they mixed camphor, they mixed kumkum, sandalwood, they mixed musk, and they made wonderful preparation for the Abhishek of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they started chanting Purusha Sukta mantra. Purusha Sukta mantra, because the Lord is exhibiting the manifestation of Lord Vishnu. And to Lord Vishnu, we usually chant Purusha Sukta mantra. So they all started chanting, all the devotees. When we talk about devotees, we are talking about Lord Balram, who is Lord Nityananda Prabhu. We are talking about Sadasiva and Lord Vishnu himself in the form of Advaita Acharya. Talking about Gadadhar Pandit, who was there, who is none other than Srimati Radharani, and Srivas Thakur, who is none other than Narada Muni. All of them are there performing wonderful Abhishek, and the Lord is mercifully glancing at all the devotees who are there. And the demigods, according to Chaitanya Bhagavad, it is said that the demigods also came and offered this wonderful Abhishek. And also, even the maid servants in the house of Srivas Thakur had this fortune of performing this wonderful Abhishek to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And many of us have deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu at our home. And what does one get when we do Abhishek to the Lord? So I would like to read a couple of lines from this wonderful book, Chaitanya Bhagavad by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And it is said, a drop of water offered to the lotus feet, even just in meditation. So when we were hearing that verse 8.5 from the Adi Leela, where it is said, even if you just remember, here it is said, even if you just meditate, you don't have to do the actual Abhishek. A drop of water offered to the lotus feet, even just in meditation, is sufficient to ward off the punishment given out by the god of death, Yamaraj. So there is hope for all of us. So we will not be punished by Yamaraj in spite of all the sins, even if we just meditate that we are offering water to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is the benediction that is given by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And who's Vrindavan Das Thakur? We heard that Srivas Thakur was the second of the 5 brothers, and the eldest brother was Nalina Pandit, and Nalina Pandit had a daughter by the name of Narayani. When she was 4 years old, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked her to chant the names of Hari and cry. And she cried so much by chanting the name of Hari and Krishna, and it is said in Chaitanya Bhagavad that the earth surrounding her became so wet by the torrents of tears that Narayani was shedding. And who's Narayani? Narayani is the mother of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is an incarnation of Vyasadeva himself. So, even the maid servants in Srivas Thakur were so fortunate because they were serving the servant. We say, Dasanu Dasanu Dasas, servant of the servant of the servant. So, literally the maid servant benefited by serving Srivas Thakur. And there is also another wonderful pastime, because today's verse that we are reading, if you remember, it is, he who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality, and who is steady in both success and failure, honor and dishonor. So here, again, these pastimes that we read from these Vedic literatures, some of them are not like the grandma stories which we can tell our young children to put them to sleep. These are extreme examples, and here is one other extreme example to show. Once when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing and singing ecstatically in Srivas Angan, there was some crying sound came from the next room. So the women, the ladies were crying, and Srivas Thakur heard this, and he ran to the other room to find out why these women were crying. And when he went, he saw that his son had died. son, Srivas Thakur, young boy, has died because of a disease that he had, but it was unexpected. He died. And Srivas Thakur was ecstatic because he realized, because he knew the 8.5 verse of Bhagavad Gita. What is that? Antakalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yat prayati samadbhavam yati nastyastra samshaya. Anyone at the time of death, if they think of the Lord, if they think of me, Lord Krishna says, they will come to me without fail. Of this there is no doubt. Samshaya. Of this there is no doubt. So here when this boy of Srivas Thakur, son of Srivas Thakur, was about to leave his body, he is but thinking of Lord, he's always thinking of Lord Krishna, because he's hearing the chanting of the holy name which is going on in the next room. And who's chanting the holy name? Lord Krishna himself is chanting the holy name. So he knew that his son has attained the ultimate destination of Parampadam, Vaikunta. He was satisfied, and he spoke the spiritual science to the other ladies to make them understand as well. Because all of us, the aim of life is to springboard to Goloka Vrindavan at the time of our death. So we have to use our deathbed as the launching pad to go to Goloka Vrindavan. That is the aim of life. And this boy of Srivas Thakur achieved that because he heard the holy name that were chanted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the other glorious devotees as well. And King Kulashekar is one of the 12 Alvars, and Prabhupada quoted his verses very, very often. And one of the verse that Prabhupada often quoted, he made it as a song as well, which is with regard to thinking of Lord at the time of death. Krishna tvadiya pada pankaja pancharantam adyaiva me vishatu manasa rajahamsa prana prayana samaye kapavata pittai kandabaro danavidau smaranam kutastai. Here it is said, my dear Lord, at this moment, let the royal swan of my mind enter into the network of the stems of your lotus feet right now, because I'm healthy. He's praying. Because at the time of death, how will I remember you when my voice is choked with bile, mucus and hair? So for the son of Srivas Thakur, this was not a problem, because he was hearing the lotus, he was remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, and he was hearing the holy names of the Lord, and he left his body. So he attained the ultimate destination. And Srivas Thakur told the ladies, do not worry about it. He reached the ultimate destination, but the ladies were still crying. And what did Srivas Thakur do? He said, if you still continue to cry, and if the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes back to his external consciousness and he stops dancing and singing, I will jump into Ganges and drown myself, because this was more important than his son who has died, because his soul has left the body and has reached the ultimate destination. Again, these are not, as I said, stories that we can narrate. These are extreme examples. And he went back to participate in this Harinam Sankirtan. For next 7.5 hours, it is said in Chaitanya Bhagavat, for next 7.5 hours, he was participating in this Sankirtan movement, or the Sankirtan Yajna that was performed there. And after 7.5 hours, the Supreme Personality of God, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he knows past, present and future. So he asked, why is there distress in this house? And the other devotees at that time mentioned that Srivas Thakur's son had left the body. Immediately Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rushed to the next room, and the dead body was there. The lifeless body of Srivas Thakur's son was there, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke to him, why did you leave the body? And this dead person sat up and he said, that was because of the destiny that is arranged by you, my Lord. So the dead person came back to life, and he said, because of the destiny that is arranged by you, I had this good fortune by which I was staying in this house of Srivas Thakur. My time is up. Based on my good karma which is exhausted, now I'm going back. And where is he going back? He's going back to Vaikunta, but his time in this body is over. Then everybody was happy. All the other ladies were happy as well, because they knew where he was going, and they stopped crying. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so impressed with Srivas Thakur, the distress, and he said, the Lord said again in Chaitanya Bhagavat, this is in the 9th Madhya Kanda, 9th chapter. The Lord says, listen Srivas, you are well conversant with the knowledge of family and material life, and you are unaffected by the distressful conditions of family life. So that's the verse that we are reading today. Dualities and Sama Siddhav Vasiddhav. Sama Siddhav Vasiddhav. Sama means equal. Siddhav Vasiddhav means in happiness and in distress. You are unaffected by the distressful condition of family life. Not only that, but you are so elevated that anyone who sees you will also become free from this entanglement. So all we have to do is, we are all in the family life. All we have to do is just look at Srivas Thakur. That is the benediction given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Not only that, but you are so elevated that anyone who sees you will also become free from this entanglement. Nityananda and myself are your two sons now. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Lord Krishna himself as well as Lord Balram will be the two sons of Srivas Thakur. So that is the benediction that is given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well as by Vrindavan Das Thakur to us about the glories of Srivas Thakur. And it is said that Srivas Thakur had many dogs and cats in the house. He had a lot of dogs and cats. And all the dogs and cats in Srivas Thakur's house as well went back home, back to Godhead at the end of their life. Because they could not become devotees, but because they were associating with the devotees, because so much of Harinam Sankirtan was going on in the house, because Haridas Thakur has instructed us for us to chant the holy name of the Lord loudly. Why is that? Because other living entities who are not able to chant, they are able to hear that. There will be insect here. If we are chanting during the Kirtan, if the insect can hear, the insect also receive or obtains the ultimate destination. So it is said in Chaitanya Bhagavat as well as Chaitanya Charitamrita, the dogs and the cats in the house of Srivas Thakur also attained the ultimate destination because they were associating with the Lord, and they also get prasadam. So everybody gets elevated. And also there is one wonderful pastime. We have 2 more minutes, maybe we'll stop with this. There's one more wonderful pastime that is depicted in Chaitanya Mangal. Chaitanya Mangal is one that was compiled by Lochan Das Thakur, and also that is mentioned in one of the purports by Srila Prabhupada in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Here it is said, Srivas Thakur was performing, it's the death anniversary of his son Jaladhar Pandit, if you remember, he was performing. And at that time, it is a custom for somebody to chant Vishnu Sahasranama, the 1000 names of Lord Vishnu. So Vishnu Sahasranama was being chanted, and at that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came that way, and when the name of Lord Narasimhadev was chanted, he immediately assumed the form of Lord Narasimhadev. Immediately his hair stood on end and his eyes became so red, and he was in this angry mood, and he was charging out of Shiva Sangan, and he was actually running. Just imagine running on the road. And then when he got back into external consciousness, Srivas Thakur prayed to him that anybody who visualizes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifesting this form of Lord Narasimhadev, they will get the benefit of performing 10 Aswamedha Yajna. So just when we meditate on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu transforming himself to Lord Narasimhadev's body, we get the benediction of performing 10 Aswamedha Yajna. So that is the glory of Srivas Thakur, and he was able to tolerate the dualities, and Sama Siddha Vasiddha, he was able to be equal in distress as well as in happiness condition, and he is the Suddha Nama Ashraya, is the shelter of the pure holy name. So let's chant the Panchatattva mantra sincerely once, and then one Hare Krishna Mahamantra to get the blessings of Srivas Thakur, whose glorious appearance day was on Wednesday, 2 days before. We'll all chant together the Panchatattva mantra. Close your eyes and please chant. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vritti ki jai, Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.
श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णापृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नामे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
Hare